Joker podcast, Batman, and welcome to That Game Rules, a retro gaming podcast where every week we break down an old video game and all the memories that surround it. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? I'm your host, Scuba Steve. Thanks for listening. I hope you all are having a fantastic week. The Scuba signal is lit and shining bright in the sky. We're ready to talk Batman the video game for the OG Nintendo, the beginning of a whole mess of movie video games, some great, some deserve to be chucked into a chemical vat. Where does Batman land in a sea of licensed games? Well, put Alfred to bed early, grab your shark repellent spray, let's break down Batman the video game based on Batman the movie here on That Game Rules, the podcast. Every week here, we go back in time, we just relive our childhood memories. Then we're going to go over the Bat Vitals, the Bat Box Art, Bat Characters, Bat Levels, Bat Music, check out some Bat comments and Bat reviews, and a whole bunch of other Bat stuff. Finally, we'll give this game some awards, slap a ranking on it, and float on out of here on one of them giant Joker parade balloons. Like, I always wanted one of those that super long gun Joker has with the bang flag. I guess a man can dream. Email the show at thatgamerules@gmail.com. Tell me what games you want to talk about. Let me know your opinions of nipples on the bat suit. But I guess bats are mammals, so they have nipples. How many times can I say nipples in my intro?
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
Check out thatgamerules.com, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, fighting crime on the internet. If the crime is bad video game opinions, we'll clean the city up, get rid of the trolls, bring positivity back to the dark landscape of gaming comment sections. You want to know how I got these scars? Well, they're emotional scars. It's from having kids. Because this parenting's really weird. I've got, before we get into the game, what have I been up to here? Just with my kids, it's like I've got the two in school still. So I'm doing stuff like we're heavy into robotics. Just had a daddy-daughter dance. But then I got two adult kids too, and it's like we're doing dumb crap. Like I got to show them how to do their taxes. And it's just weird trying to raise adults when I feel like I'm a child still. So I miss the old days of just zoo trips, slapping a Dora DVD in the DVD player. Those were good times. As far as what I've been doing, still playing Red Dead when I can, still playing Yoshi's Island because I love it, and it's good to have like multiple games going at the same time, especially when it comes to Batman. Oh boy, you gotta step away sometimes. I gotta take some Batman breaks before I end up throwing controllers. And a good thing I'm not playing on the Sega with their like batarang shaped controller, because I bet that guy goes through some drywall real easy. So it is another NES Tough game today. Let's talk some quick memories for this time warp. Just Batman in the 90s, no MCU, no DC universe. Batman 89 was just the first dirty, grungy superhero, and this is the Batman like I grew up with. Besides the animated series, which is my favorite. Shout out to Kevin Conroy. But I remember sitting in the basement, playing Batman, punching bad guys. I remember it being like one of the first instances of other media, like movies and TV, like getting converted into a video game. Because it was like, we love Mario, we love Zelda, we had our arcade classics for sure. But now this whole new wave of mixed media was being born. So let's talk Nintendo, let's talk the Dark Knight himself, and let's talk the 80s with another trip back in time. See if this Batmobile can make it up to 88 miles an hour.
Have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Thank you. Welcome back to the late 80s, early 90s here. We got a special sponsor to go with our crime fighting episode today. We got one of the OG original crime fighters himself.
Here's my nephew Scruff, about to run into trouble again.
Hey, Bobo, where's your video game? In here. Oh, look at this. Uh-oh. It's my dad's. I want to hold it. What'll I do?
If you get my new comic activity book, More Adventures with Scruff, you'll find out what you can do about bullies and guns. And you'll see lots of games.
Cool.
For your free copy of my new comic activity book, just write Scruff, McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652, and help take a bite out of crime.
I want it.
Let's take a bite out of crime. The original crime-fighting detective dog with his catchphrase, take a bite out of crime. His mission was to educate the public on personal safety and crime prevention, similar to like the real OG Smokey the Bear. McGruff was featured in cartoons, comics, and full character costumes to visit schools, make sure us kids weren't putting forks into electrical outlets. The interesting thing about that commercial was a child discovering a gun in a house, and then McGruff saying, "Hey, what should you do about this? Send out for my comic book." And then in the commercial itself just never answers what he should do. So it's like a weird, like a news story you see where it's like, the world's on fire, more later at 6 p.m., where it's like, at least what if a kid was watching that commercial and really wanted to know what he should do if he found his dad's gun in the house? Like maybe just a small answer about calling the police or something like that in the commercial. Anyway, let's keep moving on. We're going to talk movies, and I'm going to talk about the Batman movie. When it comes to those 4 Batman movies I grew up with, I like them all. Like Batman Returns is personally my favorite. And I've said it before, but I love The Stupid Forever. I love The Stupid Batman and Robin. And we can't talk, of course, Batman the video game without bringing up Batman 89. So we're going to go back to Gotham City in the 80s. Let's check out this movie. Batman 1989. The synopsis: the Dark Knight of Gotham City begins his war on crime with his first major enemy being Jack Napier, a criminal who becomes the clownishly homicidal Joker. Starring Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Kate Basinger. We got Billy D. Williams in here too. That's right, Lando himself playing Harvey Dent. Directed by Tim Burton. And Tim Burton's plans for the 3rd movie and where this franchise would have went is a whole different story. We'll dig into that on our inevitable Batman Returns episode someday. Featuring taglines, "Only one will claim the night," and "Justice is always darkest before the dawn." And like no joke back then, when it comes to a movie tagline, it's like the thing at the bottom of a movie poster. Like back in the day, the only news sources for upcoming movies besides the trailers you would only catch in the movies was like the posters lining the hall of the theater. I don't know how many movies I got excited about just seeing the poster. In this case, it was just a big Batman logo with a tagline, and that's all you need for a Batman movie. But even just that, pre-internet, like that was it. You'd see either a trailer or you'd see a poster, and then you'd have to wait a year or two to finally see that movie. Couple of facts here, some trivia. Robin Williams was offered the role of Joker when Jack Nicholson hesitated. He had even accepted the role, but when producers approached Nicholson again and told him Williams would take the part if he didn't, then Nicholson took the role and Williams was released. Like none of this to his knowledge, Robin Williams. Robin resented being used as bait, essentially, and not only refused to play the Riddler in Batman Forever when he was approached for that, but also refused to be involved in any Warner Brothers productions until the studio apologized, which eventually they did. But we were talking about this in the Aladdin episode. Like Robin Williams got screwed over when he was just trying to do Aladdin, and Disney put his face all over everything to make a bunch of money when he was just trying to do something for the kids. Same kind of weird thing. I don't know, with everything that happened with Robin Williams and looking back into this stuff now, as much as Hollywood was screwing him over, it makes me even more sad about everything that happened with him when he passed away. Well, sadness aside, let's keep moving. Michael Keaton came up with the famous "I'm Batman" line. The line in the script was, quote, "I am the night," and that later became part of the iconic line, "I am vengeance, I am the night" in Batman the Animated Series, which was partially inspired by the movie and even used Danny Elfman's theme. Hell yes. This is the only live-action Batman film to feature only one supervillain from the comic, and they went kind of super hard with those. Maybe too many villains down the road there. The home release VHS featured a Diet Coke commercial, and back then they would make commercials that would only be on VHSs. And like at the beginning, and I remember specifically commercials just from the beginning of VHSs. I remember the beginning of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had the BK Kids Club commercial, and it always made me hungry for Burger King. But this commercial, all new footage starring Alfred and Batman himself in an ad scene only on the VHS. Again, shot with some different footage, and the only way to find it now is, of course, the internet, but watching those old VHSs.
Hello. Gotham Corner Store? Yes, we seem to be down to our last Diet Coke. A gentleman is on his way to pick some up. Just look for a black car. No, this black car will be rather difficult to miss. And by the way, The gentleman is usually in quite a rush.
Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke.
Just for the taste of... Anyway, in some TV airings of the film in Latin America, this is interesting related to this game here, the cuts to the final battle remove the attempted helicopter escape and Batman tying the gargoyle to Joker's leg. So that made it seem like the hero killed the Joker by simply punching him off the roof, which is kind of exactly what happens in this game. And we'll talk about, the development between those two as we get there. But finally, a video game reference. The Joker's infamous long-barreled revolver that I love so much makes an appearance in the Resident Evil Revelations video game series, affectionately dubbed the Pale Rider.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
I think it's weird that there's curses to both video game movies and movie video games. Because it's like Batman is a good movie video game, Ghostbusters isn't. Like Mario Brothers 2023 is a good video game movie, whereas Mario Brothers 1993 is better. You get what I'm saying? And what the hell even is Power Rangers the movie, the video game? Where are we even going? But you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Let's get back to the time warp. Let's talk some glorious 80s TV shows. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and that new trailer is looking pretty dope. I wish I had all my old toys still, including Thundercats. Where's that live-action movie? I want Danny DeVito to play Snarf. Another cartoon I watched a lot back in the day. Inspector Gadget, he's kind of like Batman. He's got plenty of gadgets and stuff, featuring Gadget himself, Penny, Brain, and Dr. Claw, and his little cat. I don't remember his name. He's got... Where's the Batman in his, giant extending punching fist? Not in this game. Also, you've all heard of the Smurfs, but how many of you remember the Snorks? The Smurf underwater ripoff, just small underwater creatures with snorkels on their heads who lived in the world of Snorkland, following the adventures of characters like All-Star, Casey, and Daphne as they navigate their aquatic world using their snorkels to propel themselves and making a snork sound when excited. I have a weird specific memory of watching snorks on the floor, on the carpet, playing with my Mighty Max toys. So like I say before, it's weird, it has nothing to do with anything, but it's just, I have weird just pictures, weird kind of snippets of my memories, and that one's a specific one. Toys, lots of Batman toy action going on. The Batcave, Batmobile, Batwing. You had the Batman figures with the real fabric cape, and the Joker figures with the working, squirting orchid, the little flower thing you could squirt water out of. And of course, the 80s Batman Halloween costume special. Find this guy hanging up on the rack at Kmart. It's just like a decorated plastic sheet for a costume, and the classic half plastic molded mask with the sharp edges that cut into your face. I didn't have any fancy Batman gadget toys for me growing up, but I had my Nintendo and I had my dreams. So what else were we playing in 89? Let's talk video games. Nintendo dropping Super Mario Land on the Game Boy and the intro of Princess Daisy. Sega drops Golden Axe. Konami releases TMNT on the NES, and I will compare these two a lot. Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they've got a lot in common, and I'm not just talking gameplay, I'm talking development. So we'll talk about that. Capcom put out Mega Man 2 and DuckTales, and then in Japan, Nintendo releases Mother, and we will dig into that series when we get to the Earthbound episode. We got lots of art to discuss in that game, but let's look at the Batman art now. Let's check out this box art.
Now, I know you love video games, and I asked the clerk which is the one every boy wants.
You got me. Oh, yeah.
All right, checking out this box art. We got the NA version featuring nothing but that famous bat logo, like I mentioned earlier. That's all you need. But the Japanese box art, because they're always different, does feature the Dark Knight himself, Michael Keaton from Batman '89. Lots of history going on with the bats. In this case, we'll talk the history, the one where the parents die. And spoiler alert, it's everyone. So Batman the video game is inspired by the 1989 film Batman, and inspired is definitely a word we can use there. The game was developed by Sunsoft, coming hot off the heels of the award-winning and unforgettable Fester's Quest. Don't fact-check that. Other Sunsoft favorites for me include Gremlins 2 and Blaster Master, if you're wondering. It was released in 1989 in Japan for the Famicom, dropping in 1990 over here in North America for the NES, later in Europe as well. The NES version of Batman is a platform action game that features locations and, quite frankly, some rough guesses of the plot from the 1989 movie. It contains 5 levels, culminating in a showdown with the Joker himself in the bell tower of Gotham Cathedral. The development staff, they were given like tours of the Batman movie set and like a few lines of dialogue and like a rough plot synopsis, I think. And you add in the fact that like Japanese and American pop culture were still quite different. Batman wasn't really huge. Again, he was just kind of the campy stuff as far as what we'd had till then. So I like to see the Japanese developers' ideas of what like Americans see Batman as, because this was like still the beginning of the real life dirty superheroes. There's none of the zang, pow, bam of the 60s comics. But let me just say, I love bad translations. And I'm not just saying like the literally badly spelled words and grammar, which this game also has, but I mean it more in like the bad translation of the idea. I just love that these developers and others at the time just had to guess what these movies or shows were about, given only rough ideas, pictures, like I said, if they were actually lucky enough to be involved in the set tours. Or in some cases, they were just given a licensed product and just didn't care what kind of game they put out. They just bat-phoned it in. Looking at NES games like Ghostbusters, Back to the Future. You know what? Home Improvement for the Super Nintendo. Why not? Like, some of them suck bad, but there's something endearing about them to me. It was just like a weird, fun time to be a kid. And that's where I'll talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in this game as well. Because it was like they kind of had some Batman stuff to make this game, whereas they kind of had some TMNT stuff. And the same thing with Ninja Turtles, where they kind of like added in Bebop and Rocksteady as the cartoon got popular. And in this game, they added in the Joker fight, changed things around. Neither of these have like the super popular theme. So same thing with Ninja Turtles. You didn't have that popular cartoon sound. Batman, you didn't have your Danny Elfman theme. So just, again, a lot of fun mistranslation stuff that I'm going to poke some fun at for sure. But let's talk about the development. Let's get into the Batcave, make some gadgets. The prototype version of the game had some significant differences, such as a one-up icon and entirely different cutscenes. The cutscenes are pixelated takes on Brian Boland's panels in The Killing Joke, which is like a really popular comic. The game's original last boss was just Firebug, and there was no Joker boss. Instead, Batman defeats the Joker in like the ending cutscene. The art and dialogue were changed from the prototype to pixelated versions more in line with set photography. So they got that Jack Nicholson face in like half of these Joker shots, it looks like. The Joker confrontation in the tower was created to better reflect the movie. And it's a good thing they added that Joker fight because a lot of the enemies and bosses are pulled from the comic book lore, and I don't know any of them. And the cutscenes are interesting. Like, sometimes they look like the movie, sometimes it looks like earlier panels they just kept in because they didn't know where the plot. Anyway, let's talk about the release. The NES version received positive reviews by critics and players at the time, being called the best superhero game for the NES. And is there like a better superhero game for the Nintendo? I didn't think too hard. Like, I like X-Men. I know there's Spider-Man. Is there a Spider-Man? I know there's like a Wolverine game. I'm just not sure any of them are any good. Like, does Darkwing Duck count? If that counts, then maybe that's as good. We'll rank the Nintendo superhero games sometime down the road. We'll do that. The NES version is also considered by many players and reviewers to be one of the most difficult games ever released for the system. It's often compared to the original Ninja Gaiden trilogy.
You son of a bitch.
The Ninja Gaiden trilogy kicks my ass. I am terrible at those games. I'm so bad at it, but it's fun. It's a one more time game for me. In 1989, EGM gave it their Best Movie to Game award, and in years after its release, it has been celebrated as one of the best games on the NES. Furthermore, it is also listed among the best Batman games, and I agree there. The game is short, it's tough. I mean, it's short gameplay-wise. Time-wise, it takes me forever. Batman's purple, but it is tight. Literally, the moves are tight. The platforming is balanced. The jumping mechanic is challenging but rewarding, and it just feels so Batman. I say play this game, and I say play Arkham Asylum, and that has to be the best Batman game. That one just goes super hard. But those are my top two, Batman NES and Batman Arkham Asylum.
Shut up and take my money.
In 2009, IGN placed the title on their top 100 NES games list at number 33, citing its gameplay and high difficulty. And then in 2014, Digital Trends named it one of the best 50 games on the NES, although the publication noted storyline changes from the film on which it was based. And you know, like I said, TMNT had the same issues, just being developed at the same time. This is so similar. It's like for TMNT, they pulled from the comics. For Batman, they pulled from the comics. And then they suddenly had these new releases. They had the cartoon, so they start adding stuff into Ninja Turtles. And then they had the Batman movie. They start adding stuff back into there. Same thing with the plot. Same thing with the barely added Joker fight. And just like TMNT NES, they didn't have that sweet theme music we love so much, which brings us to the music for this game. It's not Danny Elfman. The soundtrack composed by Naoki Kodaka has been singled out today as among the best of the early NES period. Batman is dark. He's a brooding detective of the night. I guess we can't expect any Mega Man level techno jams, but this soundtrack is just that. It gives like heavy Mega Man vibes. I really like the first track. They play it in the first level and the last level, so it's like this coming back full circle as you complete this game. You'll get used to that track a lot because me and level 5-1, we go way back. And even if it was only because they had so many tracks, they are really great tracks. So let's hear one now, and then we'll get into some more game chat. Pretty good, right? Pretty good. Let's talk about these characters. Let's talk about the duel of the fates. These two enemies destined to fight each other till the end of time. In the dark recesses above Gotham City, there lurks a mysterious figure, a masked man, a hunter on a quest for vengeance. Hoodlums, crooks, and thieves call this creature Batman. With awesome agility and an arsenal of high-tech gadgets, he has the skill to take on the underworld. Elsewhere, a sinister shell of a man, deformed by a chemical immersion, designs the demise of the city. On Gotham's 200th anniversary, he plans to spread a paralyzing nerve gas, Smilex, and stop the citizens with a frozen smile. This Joker is an evil one. Batman has crossed paths with him before, and they are destined to meet again to dance together in the moonlight. I'm glad these guys are in this game because I don't recognize a damn thing otherwise. I'll compare this game, like I said, to TMNT, and in this case, I don't recognize anything I'm punching. They're all actual comic book characters with stories and thought behind them, and I guess I'm just not a fan enough of the comic to recognize those sprites, but we'll break them down in a little bit. Let's talk about the manual. Alfred here left us some notes. Nothing too fancy in the manual. I do find it fun. Their cutscenes, they have a whole section. They almost describe them as levels, and they're described as interstage demonstrations. And again, these are just cutscenes, but the way it's described in the manual says, gameplay introductory demonstrations are shown before each of the 5 stages. The demonstrations are designed to familiarize you with the stage you are about to play, which is weird to me. It's just a cutscene. Maybe at one point they had it like a level play or something, the way they described it, like they were going to show the level you're about to play. The cutscenes don't prepare you for anything. They're cutscenes. But anyway, the game's also featured in an early Nintendo Power. But when it comes to this game, the maps in the magazine don't help. I don't need big overlay maps in your guides. I'm not lost. I just suck. So write that in your fancy book. Don't suck. But let's talk about the controls.
Hey, listen!
Listen up. We're talking about wall jump. Yes, A is jump, but how hard did you hit jump? Did you hold jump? And did you jump off a wall? All these questions matter, and it makes jumping a difficult but fun mechanic to master, and master it you must. Also, weapon swapping is interesting here. I like that the start button is now used for weapon swapping just because it's like closer to your A and B, but I do find it strange that essentially your weapon select is not the select button. Select now becomes pause. But like I said, it shows that they like play tested it, that they're like, we need to get this weapon swap button closer to our other buttons we're talking about. Let's get into the story here. It's no secret.
It's a secret.
Shut up.
The parents die, but we're going to read from the game intro itself. Gotham. It's a dark, deserted city governed by crime and violence. The whole town is now in preparation for the 200th anniversary of the Gotham City Festival. Joker, the city's evil leader. He has spread poisonous nerve gas all over the town and has terrorized the population. Vicky Vale, a shrewd photo. Journalist tracking the poison nerve gas mystery is endangered many times, but rescued each time by a mysterious black figure who in fact is Batman. While fighting against Joker, recalls him as the murderer of his parents many years ago. Batman, with full force, will wage his last fight against the Joker to eliminate the worldly evil and his parents' death. It's weird. Here they spell parents with 2 R's at the end of the paragraph, but spell it normal at the beginning of the paragraph. So just, anyway, let's talk gameplay, jumping and punching. The game has a feature that was unusual for side-scrolling platforms at the time, besides Ninja Gaiden, and largely on the NES itself. Unlike the other Batman game that was released for the Mega Drive and Genesis, Batman has the ability to wall jump, which is reminiscent of the wall scaling in Ninja Gaiden. He is also able to use the 3 projectile weapons, the batarang, the dirk or bat disc or shuriken or whatever you want to call that one, and the bat spear gun, which are powered by pellet cartridges. And that's right, folks, Batman's catching a lot of flack on this game, but stop talking all that crap about his gun. It's obviously a bat spear gun shooting bat spears that I'm sure are more easily to carry around a bunch of bat spears than like a bunch of bullets. There is no grappling hook, though. The other Batman game I played a lot was Batman Returns, like on the Game Gear of all things, which was like, I know in that game you have the grappling hook, and it is like a really fun mechanic, almost like a Spider-Man kind of swinging ability, and I feel like I like that game, but I thought the same thing about Sonic 2 on the Game Gear, and I'm beginning to wonder if my memories of the Game Gear are just so rose-colored, and it turns out that they all actually suck, and now I'm wondering if I'm out of touch.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
Sound buttons, you my only friend. Let's get into levels here. And this game progressively does get super tough, but infinite continues. So get at it. Gotham City. Batman begins his adventure in Gotham City as he investigates the Smilex nerve gas scandal. Batman travels through the dark, deserted Main Street. Let's get right to it. Dropped into that dark background cityscape. The whole reason we get that awesome purple Batman sprite is the decision to go with the dark levels, which, I mean, it makes sense. It is the Dark Knight, right? And he wouldn't be the Dark Knight without an arsenal of gadgets to strike fear in the criminals of Gotham.
Forget about the badge! When do we get the freaking guns?
Let's talk about these weapons. We got the spear gun. Much easier to use and more compact, I imagine, than a standard gun and bullets. Storing a quiver of spears on your person seems cumbersome, but I'm not a detective. The batarang. Classic Batman. Even though it comes back like a boomerang, you don't get your pellet count back. It's still gonna cost you that ammo. And the dirk. Throw and split into 3 directions, covering an area kind of like a shuriken, but it's kind of got the bat kind of look to it when you throw them. All these weapons costing ammo, or pellets as they're called in this game, but you shouldn't ever have to worry about ammo management if you don't suck like me. I'm bad at swapping weapons too, so like worry about what weapon you swap to. The issue with the pellet stock is when you keep dying like I do. So depending on the level, you can be pretty screwed with no ammo if you're starting at the beginning. And it's weird for me, I'm either at 0 or 99 when it comes to like my ammo count. So it does help to not die a lot like I do. In the second area, Batman encounters a shopping mall background with skyscrapers at the bottom. There's no sign of life, only the steel skeletons of buildings and the steel structure of a deserted freeway. Finally, Batman reaches City Hall, located in the center of Gotham City, where he must defeat the evil boss, Mothman. That's right, from the hills of West Virginia comes Mothman himself, 8 feet tall, light fur, huge moth eyes, known as the Harbinger of Doom, and his presence is thought to bring about events of death and destruction. He has lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. Wrong, Mothman. We're fighting Killer Moth. I'm sorry, my guy, but the name is not bringing the terror here. Did you workshop that at all, or are you just like Killer Croc's second cousin? But Killer Moth, the Joker hired this assassin to attack Batman by shooting fireballs. As far as Killer Moth, having decided that the lawbreakers of Gotham City needed a costume protector just as honest citizens had Batman, Killer Moth emulated the Dark Knight in every way, copying his paraphernalia and building on his legend to create his own supervillain identity. Regardless, smack around Killer Moth. Some of these bosses take like a lot of hits. Not this guy. He's got a good spot. You can stand in the corner and batarang him out. Punching is effective, but I can never tell how many times I'm hitting things. Moving on to the Axis Chemical Factory. Here comes the difficulty spike already. The Joker's hideout, the Axis Chemical Factory, is Batman's next challenge. Here he must cross a liquid waste floor as chemical waste is flowing around the facility. The spark floor, equipped with sparking panels of power for the entire factory, and the conveyor belt floor, where chemical materials are refined. Finally, the nerve center, where Batman must outsmart security traps and destroy the entire machine intelligence system. Let's talk about that little robot boss guy. This machine controls the power to Axis Chemical Factory. It's protected by 3 targets. The electric current controller. When destroyed, the movement stops and Batman can move freely up to the next pillar, the cannon. Take out that thing. Next, you can take out the nerve center. It is often referred to as like the Contra boss. It's not Batman's only man-against-machine fight in this game. But while beating up bad guys and punching electrical panels, you'll be stocking up on some items.
Hey, listen!
So we've got the B, or bonus item as it's called in the manual. All it does is add points to your score. And once again, nobody I know or knew back then was ever talking about score unless it was like a sports game or something. If it was a hard game, it always came down to how far you could make it as far as like having any bragging rights. If you went to school and got on the playground and talked about your score on Ninja Turtles from the NES, you'll get made fun of. Like wedgies and Indian burns coming your way. You're supposed to lie and tell everyone you made it past the dam level and the electric seaweed. Then you're king of the playground. Also picking up here, you've got the pellet. Each pellet will add 10 points to your ammo count, with each weapon using a different amount of said pellets. The batarang takes 1, the gun takes 2, the thing that splits into 3 takes 3. You also got the heart to pick up. Adds a measly 1 hit point to your counter, but there are plenty of spots in this game where you can stop and just kill the enemies over and over and kind of stock up on things. Make sure you're topped off for that final fight. But moving on to the underground conduit level, and because I pulled it up, we're going to listen to the music from that one. Underground conduit. Even though Batman successfully destroyed the chemical factory and murdered hundreds of people, he is caught in a trap by the Joker and dropped into an underground conduit. Underground conduits 1 or 2 are a network of sewers connecting all of Gotham. Here, Batman must find the secret exit, the underground cavern, and when Batman finds the exit, he must defeat the Electrocutioner. The Joker's strongest warrior, Electrocutioner, a self-electrogenic man who is capable of transmitting a moon attacker, a 10 mega gigavolt killer beam or something out of his arm. A really nice looking sprite though, reminds me of like a good Mega Man fight. And this fight is one of them. This is a slow crawl. This is like a marathon. It's you and the boss just dancing around, rinse and repeat. At least that's how I managed to beat it. But I can beat it, damn it. Thank you, Infinite Continues. And as good as the electrocutioner looks, I have no idea who he is, just like everybody else in this game. Like, I think I recognized Deadshot, but he was just leaning against a wall, and then you just punch him to death real quick, if that was Deadshot. But apparently, all these enemies are based on comics, so let's check out a few of them on some of these classic DC villains. You've got KG Beast. Codenamed the Beast and known to the CIA as the KG Beast, is trained as an assassin by the Hammer, a top-secret cell of the KGB. In addition to being the master of several martial arts, his strength is cybernetically enhanced, and he also masters the use of every known deadly weapon. At the time of his first appearance, he is rumored to have killed at least 200 people. So he's like getting right up there with like Batman's kill count. We've got Deadshot. He's the alias of Floyd Lawton, a mercenary with a death wish who possesses uncanny, near-superhuman accuracy and regularly boasts of never missing a shot. Regarded as the greatest marksman and one of the deadliest assassins in the DC universe, Deadshot has come into conflict with various heroes, including Batman, Green Arrow, and the Justice League. And final shout out here to Maxie Zeus. Maximilian Maxie Zeus is a supervillain appearing in the comic books published by DC, primarily as a minor enemy of Batman. He is depicted as a mentally ill former history professor who is obsessed with Greek mythology and believes himself to be the god Zeus, becoming a crime lord in Gotham City. Other baddies in the game include Shakedown, Heatwave, the Enforcer, Night Slayer, and Javelin, all people I don't know. And I'm sure there's names for the tank robots and like the death Roombas in this game, but I don't remember or care. Those robot sprites do give me those Technodrome vibes. Again, though, something about all these old games. There was like so much changing for gaming so quickly. Every month the game seemed to get better tech-wise, and every time a new gimmick or graphic came out, we swore it couldn't get any better. Nowadays, I don't know, it's all so good now. I feel like the gaming is like at a plateau as far as like anything mind-blowing for any of us. We're just numb to it. And if you weren't there to experience something like the change from the NES to the SNES, or from like the 2D to 3D gaming in general, like, what does it matter nowadays if you can go into X number more buildings in GTA 6? Like, it all just feels the same to me.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
The children are wrong. Let's talk about the laboratory ruins. The Joker's other hideout is a contaminated, deserted laboratory. As Batman enters the research laboratory, he sees an array of futuristic life samples made by genetic engineering. What the hell is going on in the plot in this game now? The next area Batman searches is the storage room, an almost empty warehouse with research engineering tools and equipment, energy conduits, and power-driving motors. Finally, Batman reaches the thermal processing plant, where a burning hot flame is used to process waste and refuse. After Batman finds the exit, he must destroy the dual container alarm. Another robot boss for you. And I mentioned already have a lot of those TMNT vibes, but what really gets me, it makes me sad, is like a missing Batmobile level or a Batwing. Even if it was like we had the party van in TMNT and the levels kind of sucked, but it was still fun to like get in the van and drive around. And I feel like it was not like a missed opportunity. I can't give them any flack, for not having something like that to compare it to. But it does just make me sad. A little bat dream of mine that we didn't get to ride a little 8-bit Batmobile in the first game. But holy conveyor platforming Batman, like another notch added to the difficulty of this level with the wall jumping on the single block conveyors. It's tough. The thing is you'll fall and you just have to essentially start over. You can fall and hit fire and take some damage, but it is just like it's a constantly starting over. You're jumping on the little single moving conveyors while doing your wall jumps and stuff too. And like I said, another robot boss. Time for Batman to punch some big steel boxes or something. If you die as much as I do, you'll probably notice how Batman dissolves into like the Batman symbol before vanishing. So that's a nice little touch, nice little detail there. As far as the bosses, plenty of good techniques to take these bosses down pretty easy. There's no real big glitches I know of. There's certain spots you want to stand, lots of repeating, but that's these classics for you. So it's time to move on to our final battle. More fun cutscenes, including the one with the cathedral tower that looks about 8,000 stories higher than the rest of like the entire Gotham cityscape. It kind of looked like that in the movie too. So now you're getting a little bit more accurate. But the cutscenes and the cinematics were actually kind of mind-blowing at the time. That Batman is Batman 89 on NES. It's Michael Keaton. There's Joker. There's Jack Nicholson. It does have like a really cool part where the Batmobile like shoots open the garage door and drives through it. And just as a kid, you're like, I'm watching the freaking movie on Nintendo. So it was really cool. Let's get into this last level. Batman heads to his greatest challenge, the Cathedral. After climbing the dark, narrow staircase to the bell tower, Batman is attacked by the Joker's trusted bodyguard, Firebug. After eliminating Firebug, he is greeted by none other than the Joker, where he has his final battle. And oh boy, level 5-1 and me, we have a relationship. It's like the last level, and then you get 2 bosses. But it's the vertical wall jumping while you've got the towers grinding gears. It's that level. And put me through the grinder, it does. There's a certain shame in throwing a controller as a 40-plus-year-old man. Realistically, last night alone, I probably put in 60 tries, like no exaggerating. Before I beat it, I do pure runs, like no save states or anything, but it has the infinite continues, so yeah, it'd be nice to save state it when I made it halfway up my wall jumping, but I'll start back at the beginning. I like that formula. I like to master those things, but I'm no master of this game. It's hard, it's doable, and it's not ridiculous with its life and continue system like a game like Lion King is or something. Like, it's not making you start the whole game over. But let's talk about Firebug, the Joker's most trusted bodyguard. He is probably, the Joker's a tough fight, but the fact you have to make it through Firebug with a certain amount of like your ammo and stuff, I think Firebug's pretty tough. I think I have an easier time on the Joker, just based on he's got a few spots where you can stand to get away with stuff. Anyway, Firebug, he'll stop at nothing to kill Batman. He can emit 600 million degrees Celsius fireballs, because that's right, Batman uses the metric system. And now, for the Clown Prince of Crime himself, another longer, don't mess up this fight, taking advantage of the sprite hitboxes, like I said, and Batman's invincibility while hitting, which is kind of different from other games. Usually, you get hit by an enemy and become invincible, where you blink for a little bit, your character, you get some knockback. In this game, you punch the enemy starts blinking, and then Batman's invincible from their hits. So that's definitely something that comes into play with the wall jumping and with defeating like the Joker fight, because you need to be invincible while he's essentially running through you. But it's time to dance with the devil.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Batman's greatest enemy, who wants Batman dead to take control of Gotham City. Never forgetting Batman threw him into a vat of chemicals in the past, the Joker is equipped with his long-barreled revolver, which shoots deadly energy projectiles. Napier also has a lightning glove. When he raises his hand, 3 deadly lightning bolts will fall, a far more powerful version of his joy buzzer. Unfortunately, no cameo from Bob the Goon. So how about that? Everyone makes fun of Joker randomly playing Raiden and controlling lightning from his hands, including me. But it's cool, though. I learned this, and it's going to be canon in my head now. I never thought of it as like a souped-up joy buzzer, and I actually really like that a lot. And the sprite looks good with his big barrel gun, and he does. It's just one hand in the air when the lightning comes down. But yeah, if you think of it like a souped up Batman Gadget joy buzzer thing, I can get behind that. The fight's pretty tough. Hold that position close to him, like standing like in his gun, essentially, to avoid the shots he fires, because those are the most damaging. Batarang the hell out of him, take him down for good. And another great cut scene. Batman apparently utters Joker's famous line back to him, says, "Now you will dance with the devil in the pale moonlight," like he's popping off like an Arnie one-liner, and then he just yeets Joker off the edge faster than a baby penguin in Mario 64. Then the game takes 3 long scenes to zoom in on the Joker's 8-bit corpse. It's kind of morbid, but now you've done it. Purple Batman has saved the city of Gotham, which he also only learned of recently, according to this game. Another weird... Anyway, sleep well, citizens of Gotham. Let's talk a little legacy of our hero before we get into our comments and awards. Speed runs. You've got your Any Percent by Steve Fornes. He got that baby in at 9 minutes and 45 seconds. You've got the Pacifist run. by Bays at 12 minutes. There's confusion over there, over on the forums, about the use of the hit stun on your pacifist run. You have to kill bosses to make it through the game, but I know the pacifist runs are like not killing enemies to make it through them. I love you perfectionists and your speed runs and your formulas and your forums, but also the fist-only run, and that was by Bays as well at 10 minutes and 34 seconds. Also, Nika released an action figure based on the purple Batman sprite from the game. And this is the only retro Batman game to get a piece of modern merchandise. Like, bring on the Batman Classic Collection. I want all these games. I want Batman. I want Batman Returns. I want them from Game Boy. I want them on Game Gear. I want the Sega ones. I want the Super Nintendo. There's like a Batman and Robin game. I think there's a Batman Forever game. And there's like a Batman and Robin cartoon game as well. Adventures of I want all of them. Get us the Batman collection. But of course, the Batman games wouldn't end there. There's a Batman game for every movie and cartoon out there, including the amazing Arkham games, mixing all the genres together, filled with bosses and enemies, Easter eggs, and of course the voice actors from the animated series. Gets a chef's kiss from me. But the streets are safe again. Justice has been served, and the morgue is overloaded with bodies. Batman's job is done. The night is darkest just before the dawn, so let's see how dark it gets in this week's comment section.
Aren't you a little old for video games?
Batman is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Let's do all the things that you want to do. Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. Need the info.
I've lived in mortal terror that this would happen. Get on with the ceremony.
Let's see if you guys love Batman as much as I do. We got Ruben Dario here. He says, some serious nostalgia memories of this game makes you realize you never know the value of a moment until it becomes that, a memory. And you know what, Ruben? I like your name because I like a good sandwich. But I like your comment too, and that's what this podcast is all about, the memories, the feels. Let's just get out of our heads and let's just talk about some fun old dumb stuff for an hour. That's the podcast. You just keep listening. We got ADD here. He says, quote, Batman never kills, literally throws the Joker from the top of the tower. And it's like, yeah, Tim Burton's going to do what Tim Burton do. And granted, in this movie, he didn't like exactly throw him. He did the kind of tried to save him, but he did straight kill, though, just in general in the movies, as far as the first two films with Batman. In Batman Returns, he shoves a time bomb like down some guy's pants and then kicks him into a sewer or something. So Batman's Burton all day long. Boss Mangle here says, I've long said that Batman is the perfect NES game. It's fun, easy to control, has a great soundtrack, and has just the right level of difficulty. That's it. It's not insanely difficult like Ninja Gaiden or Castlevania, but it's no cakewalk either. You play just enough to be satisfied by it. I feel the same way about Super Mario Brothers, come to think of it. And yeah, you mentioned Castlevania with good reason. I get those vibes from this game too, but Castlevania will mop the floor with me before this game does. And I've already said Ninja Gaiden. I was playing Ninja Gaiden back in the day on a computer though, so maybe I could try some Nintendo controller stuff. I was arrow keys and space bars at my grandpa's house back in the day. Comment here from Dark Hero Dan. He says, one of the best games from Sunsoft ever, besides Blaster Master, that is. But yeah, Batman is a bitch to clear, but oh so fun. And oh man, I've mentioned it before, do I remember Blaster Master? That's another one that gives me like weird nostalgia vibes. Like I'm not sure if I like that game or not. And like I feel like the game itself was mean to me or something. Like I have to stare at the floor when Blaster Master looks at me. But maybe that's just me. Epic Carry here says, great game. I remember playing it on a kiosk at the Nintendo World Championships in 1990, right after it came out. Went out and bought it right after. And I gotta say, my friend, I wish I had a memory of the Nintendo World Championship. Like, how cool is that? How epic. Cherish that memory. Send me one of the shirts or hats from back then. I'll send you some merch. It's all good. Sandman8920 says, why couldn't Samus have had a tight controlling wall jump like this? Poor Samus. She got that turbo run, though. I like Samus a lot. Like, put Batman in Smash Brothers. I want to see him go toe-to-toe with Samus, and I'm putting my money on Samus. I think she's got the gadgets. Mega Box here says, I must have been 6 or 7 when my mom sent me this game from the States to my home in Bolivia. This is the first video game I beat on my own, along with Ultra's nightmare of a TMNT game. Those are memories. And yes, TMNT is rough. Way less forgiving than this game. I do wish, like I said, Batman had that overhead vehicle mode. Even though it kind of sucks in like TMNT, we still got to drive it. Still got to have that party bus. Even like a 1942 style, like Batwing fight through the sky, or like a Galaga type of thing with like the overhead in the shooting. But anyway, final comment here from Profalead says, that purple Batman figure annoys me more than it should. Oh man, like you'll love it and just keep playing. He'll grow on you. But there is a mod out there that switches it up. I think it makes the backgrounds purple, and it gives Batman the black suit sprite and like the bright yellow logo. But play how you play. I love you fans making mods. Let's keep the love going. I've got some bad awards to give out. Let's get into my awards here. First up, we've got the Metal Blade Award. That's going to go to the most OP weapon. There's only 4 of them, technically. We'll go down the list. You got the Fisticuffs, which is probably the most used weapon, and it's your best way to do like your wall jumping to then kind of stun lock or hit lock, whatever you call it, these enemies. So you're punching people a lot. It might be your like MVP, but it's not mine. You got the spear gun, and I know Batman plus guns equals boring unless you've got like a grappling hook shooting out of there. But it is nice to have your spear gun going across the full screen. The Batarang should be my winner. It's not. It's perfect. It looks great. It plays great. It does. It's like the swoop. I want all that stuff when I'm throwing a Batarang. It is the ultimate, best known Batman weapon. But the winner is going to be the Dirk. With its spread, it becomes pretty clutch in some tough areas. I know it uses your 3 ammo count. Sometimes it's like if I'm feeling froggy, I'm doing a lot more punching than I am. But sometimes I'm like, all right, let's see if I can actually make it through. I'll stop. I'll use my range weapons when other times I'd probably try like a jump and a punch. But the next award is going to be the Water Temple Award, the hardest level. And it's pretty much the order of this game as far as 1 through 5. So let's call it out here. We got the Gotham sewers with the electrocutioner. And at least the water doesn't hurt. There are some other hurty things later. It introduces like the big jumping enemies, those guys. I didn't talk about the big jumping enemies with like the horn looking things. And again, I don't know who they're supposed to be, but you got to control those guys. The hop over you, batarang them guys. They're introduced in that level. And if you let one get away from your flow, they are on you and it's just over. Anyway, moving on. The laboratory with the alarm boss. More tricky jumping. It's got low headroom. You got the conveyors. Some of these jumps are like so precise. You use that term, threading the needle. And that's what it feels like on a lot of these jumps. But the hardest game, the hardest level, the Water Temple Award is going to go to me. Oh, me and old 5-1 on that cathedral. More gears to avoid, vertical platforming, lots of timing, lots of rhythm with the bosses. Patience is crucial on the Joker, but as it should be, the last level should be the hardest level. Award number 3, the I'm All Out of Gum Award. That's going to be my favorite dialogue from the game. Number 3, quote, Vicky Vale, a shrewd photo. Quote, like what the hell is that? That's like a weird dig on Vicky's appearance. That's just how the paragraph starts describing her. And then she disappears for the rest of the game. Goodbye, Vicky. Floating away on a parade balloon over there. Next up, number 2, the whole part about his parents, where they spell parents wrong. The wording's all weird. Batman's going apparently for his last fight, like he's just gonna die after this or retire. But my favorite line of the whole game is going to be, now you will dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. Spoken by the man, Batman himself, right before he throws Joker off the cliff. Throws his own quote right back at him. And that's, exactly how it happened in the movie. Not really. But let's get into the ratings of this game. Does that game rule? Is it a rental or should it be retired? Because there's better games out there. We're going to talk gameplay, visuals, music and sound, and awesomeness. And gameplay, 8 out of 10. Like NES Tough is like an interesting title for games. I feel like it describes a hard game, but also like an endearing game. So when people say, man, that's an NES Tough game, I think they say it because they enjoy playing it. Man, they enjoy getting beat up a little bit. Like if it was a hard game that was bad, you wouldn't say, oh, that's an NES Tough game. You would just say, oh, that game sucks. Blaster Master equals NES Tough. Fester's Quest equals sucks. Like, go play the regulars Addams Family game on the Nintendo. It's way better than Fester's Quest. Me and Fester's Quest, we go way back. Visuals, 7.5 out of 10. Shout out to Purple Batman, dark backgrounds, detailed cutscenes that were actually really impressive for the time. Music and sound, 7 out of 10. Maybe 8. Let's give you an 8 out of 10. I'm going to notch you up. You got no Danny Elfman in his glorious 8-bit, but still one of the best soundtracks on the NES. I tried making video game music in Mario Paint, and it sucks. It's just like tugboats and dog barks, so I don't know what I'm doing. But I did pull a little treat for you guys because there are more creative people than me out on the internet whipping up tunes, and I don't know, I don't have the artist, but I did pull up a nice Danny Elfman Batman theme 8-bit tune. Good though. I'd have loved punching bad guys to that theme. It's like, but I'm catching a lot of the Tales from the Crypt from that. I know Danny Elfman did that theme as well. I love all his music, Beetlejuice, all his stuff. Finally, awesomeness, 9 out of 10, showing us what a licensed game can do. I do miss a Batmobile level, even like I said, if it was just like a dumb overhead map. But again, small missed opportunity, but the Arkham games are going to make up for that in the best way possible. So let's add all those up. What are we giving this game? Baby, 8 out of 10 batarangs means that game rules. It's a solid, no-frills, old-school Nintendo game. Like, the platforming's tough, but the jumping mechanic is fun and really feels like you're the Dark Knight, ridding the streets of Gotham of crime. Whether you're a Batman fan, Nintendo nerd, or just like to beat yourself up every once in a while, go show that purple Batman some love. But speaking of love, it's Valentine's Day next week, so let's celebrate with a game we all love. We could talk about Zelda, where you collect hearts. We could talk about Mortal Kombat, maybe, where you also collect hearts, I guess. But that's next week. For now, let's hang up the cape and give the bat suit to Alfred to dry clean. Do you know what that rubber suit gets like after fighting crime for 12 hours? Let's just say it really seals in the flavor. Thanks again for listening to this week's show. I appreciate the support. I hope you guys have a great week. One more time, hit me up at thatgamerules@gmail.com. Follow me on the socials if you so choose. More retro gaming fun next week. Until then, stay safe. Don't fall into a chemical vat. Watch out for those killer moths. And thanks, everyone. I'll see you on the next one.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.